Welcome everyone, and thanks again, Kelsey and Matt, for being over here. For anyone that's in for the first time, this is another one of our Discover Career Chats, something that Jeff and I have been putting together to put in front of you amazing, incredible, and inspiring people and their journeys in different aspects of tech and our education and innovation. Today, we have one that we've been excited about for a while, and we're going to give a shout out to Aaron McKinnon, who many of you know from Phase 4 Clubhouse in Pittsburgh, who connected us with Kelsey originally, and we've been continually blown away by the color and shape and form of what they do over there. I'm not going to take tons of your thunder into like the explanation of. I'm going to let you tell. Matt has some cool, exciting backgrounds in physical making that you might mention, and you got a cool educator's background leading up to this. But between these educator makers, they've created this program that offers a super dynamic way of interacting with professional development and education for youth. As you can see from Kelsey's background, they built up this physical world around how they share it with folks. And being that this is part of all of our world, and as well as broadcast streaming and other kind of media creation, there's all of these intersections between what they're doing over there and what you all are doing in your respective sites, both on a technical side and on a creative and ingenuitive side about how tech and education collide. So does that say enough without saying too much?
Yeah.
Kelsey, pass it over.
That's a mysterious intro. I like that.
I want to give a little mystery, yeah. And there's a bunch of little cool drops that I don't want to take away from you, but yeah. So without further ado, everyone, this is Kelsey. She has her partner Matt off screen behind her from CodeJoy. Kelsey, I'll let you take it away.
Awesome. Well, hello, everybody. It's so great to be with you guys today, especially because I know you guys are maker educators, you're Clubhouse runners. And so I wonder, just as we do a little get to know you, maybe in the chat, when did you become a maker? I know that's a really big question, and we all probably have different definitions of what that answer would be, but I'm curious, when would you say that you became a maker? And you could tell me a year or tell me a story or whatever. This is kind of a way to get to know who we're talking to, but I'll answer that question for myself. So my background was as a middle school English teacher, and I would not say that I was a maker when I was a middle school English teacher. I was trying to be innovative, but I was young and I was just kind of like doing what I thought middle school English teachers did. But when I moved to Pittsburgh, which is where our business is based now, I started working at this after-school girls-only STEM club. And in many cases, the curriculum was provided for us. So this week, we're going to be engineering slime. And that week, we're going to be engineering glitter lip gloss. And the next week, we're going to be engineering note card towers. But then one week, my boss sort of told me that I would be doing robotics. And I said, I don't know how to do robotics. That is not my background at all. But I really learned with the girls that first year. And I'd say that I became a maker in probably 2014, right around the same time that a bunch of my 4th and 5th grade students became makers, because we did that all together. So we started using this robotics tool, and we made these robot petting zoo animals. This design for this guy is from the original robot petting zoo that Matt did when he was out at the Tech Hive out in Berkeley in like 2015 or something. But yeah, I'd say I became a maker in like 2014, sort of. And I love it. Matt says he became a maker when he was 10 years old, when writing my first song about a brazen attack of our elementary school bus driver. Yeah, making songs, making all kinds of things. That's great. But I don't run this company alone. What we do here at CodeJoy, I do it with my co-founder, whose name is Matt Chilbert. Although Matt doesn't usually appear on screen very much as himself. He usually appears as his robot avatar named Matt the Robot. So Matt the Robot, how are you this afternoon?
Oh, I'm doing great. How's it going, everybody? Yeah, my name's Matt. I run some technical things kind of in the tech booth here. I'm sure we'll get a chance to take a look at that tech booth, and we'll get some FaceTime. But for the moment, I hope you're not too weirded out by talking to a cardboard robot. Let's see. I think I became a maker when I was about 9 years old. I saw the movie Hook, and I tried to make a tree house like the one in Hook, and it didn't work out at all. But ever since then, I've been interested in making stuff, and have never reached Hook level making, but we're getting there.
So whenever you became a maker, I think one of the cool things about like maker education is that you really bring yourself to it. So, you know, my background is as a performer. What we do here at CodeJoy, there's an element of performance to it. There's an element of memorizing a script and making sure that that works. But I love that in Matt's background, he went to film school. So there's a huge element of what we do here that is film related. And Misha says, I became a maker in middle school when I started writing songs, DJing, and really identifying as an artist. I love that, Misha. That's great. So feel free to keep those stories coming in as we go. It's a kind of nice thing to just kind of check in about. But let me tell you a little bit about what we do at CodeJoy and then kind of give you a tour of our studio here. So at CodeJoy, we're an educational media company focusing on helping teachers and classrooms bring robotics and coding into their space, whatever that is. So we work with English teachers and help them create robot Shakespeare projects, and we work with science teachers and help them use robotics tools to go out and collect environmental data. And we work with math teachers to make the Pythagorean theorem like fun with robots and things. So to give you a little tour of our studio here, I really am in basically a television studio. So this is a multi-camera TV studio that we've got 9 different cameras here. So I've got this front-facing camera, I've got a top-down camera where I can demonstrate things or maybe plug some of our partners that we've been working with. I've got a close-up camera over here where we could take a closer look at some interesting robotics tools and robotics projects and things like that. And I can also go to like close-ups on various parts of my background. So I've got another camera. I can do a close-up on our Mona Lisa project here, which every so often and never on cue, her eyes move very slowly. Again, never, oh, there they go. All right, so there you go. So is also a robotics tool here. But just to zoom out a little bit and kind of give you the full look at our studio, this is the CodeJoy studio. So I know Matt Burke was telling us that you guys often, many of you guys have like pretty advanced setups doing like video stuff. I've seen a green screen out at Aaron McKinnon's Phase 4 Learning Center in Pittsburgh. We created an entire television studio, and it's actually, we're located in an old schoolhouse just outside of Pittsburgh in West Homestead. So this is a schoolhouse from, we believe, the 1800s, and we've been renovating all of the classrooms, turning them into multi-camera studios like this. So lights, cameras, all that jazz. That's what this kind of looks like. And I want to check in on the chat. Jess, my mom is and was a super creative. I'd say I've been a maker since I was 5, and I used to help my mom make my Halloween costumes. Yeah, I feel like Halloween and like cosplay, that's such a big way that a lot of, and costuming, making clothes, going to like thrift shops and stuff like that. That's a great way to get an even broader spectrum of kids involved. And speaking of kids, we wanted to give you a little demo of what we do for students. So I'm going to put a link in the chat, and anybody who's willing and able, feel free to click on that link, and we want to show you what we do for students. So basically, for students, we create a live interactive TV show. During this TV show, kids learn how to code, and then their code controls our robots live during the show. So if you find that link in the chat, if you click on it, it'll ask you to type in your name, and then it'll give you a countdown because we're super dramatic here. And it'll let you join that CodeJoy show. Now, provided our video isn't blocked on your network wherever you are, you'll see live video there. You'll also see a chat box there, so feel free to type in that chat box. What you're on is a platform that we created called CodeJoy Live. CodeJoy Live incorporates live sub-1 second delay video. That will become important later. It also incorporates live chat as well, so feel free to type in that chat box. And it's got a pretty advanced registration system that goes with it as well, so that we can track who's coming from where. We can have up to 400 participants join a session like what you're seeing now. And they can be joining from anywhere in the world. In fact, everywhere in the world. We've had kids in like Germany and Saudi Arabia controlling robots here in Pittsburgh, which has been pretty cool.
I'll get to you, but I'm married.
So I'm going to go ahead and make sure everybody kind of stays muted in the background. That's all right. Thank you. Awesome. And I am also going to turn on original sound on Zoom because we're going to play some music. So you can keep the sound going through Zoom. That'll be all right. But I'm going to play some music and it'll sound really terrible if I don't turn this on. So, but if anybody else unmutes, we'll get a really bad echo. So, oh, I wanted to highlight something Delisa said in the chat. She says, I fell in love with technology in 3rd grade, but in 2019, I noticed that my son had an interest in robotics as well, and it got me started with making, as well as working with some 3 through 6-year-olds in crafting and coding. That is awesome, working with like young kids like that. That's fantastic. And I see we've got some chats that maybe started coming in on CodeJoy Live. Do you want to talk about your job on CodeJoy Live, Matt?
Yeah, during the student shows, it's my job to monitor the chat. That's my primary job. This is a one-way chat, so anything that you type, only you can read, although we have a setting so that when we're doing this with classrooms, the teacher of that classroom could read all of the chats from that classroom. We could have up to 400 students at a time here, so this chat can get very busy. And it's my job to elevate the chats that are most relevant to the show and bring those to Kelsey. It's also my job to try to say as many names as I possibly can. So I'd like to say hi to Sev and Angel. Matt says, testing, giant Furbies. Giant Furbies are receiving your test. TCN, you know, the Clubhouse network. I know. Yeah. Awesome.
That's great. Well, listen, it sounds like, it looks like most of you have been able to log into CodeJoy Live, which is great. So maybe we can play a little music in the background. Yeah, there we go. Okay. Probably hearing some music through Zoom. We'll keep running sound through Zoom. Oh, Galen let us know that Galen became a maker as a kid, building makeshift clubhouses with his brother. That's great. Sounds familiar. Well, listen, we want to do a little snippet of a show for you. This is a show we've been doing all week. This is a partnership actually with NASA, specifically the NASA TechRise Student Challenge. So this is a show that helps kids not only learn to code and how to make robots, but also how to engage in this national challenge. So we're going to do a little snippet of this show here. I'm just going to check on a couple things. Okay, check. Okay, I think I'm ready to start the little show. Are you ready to do a little bit of show, Matt?
Oh, yeah. I'm ready to go.
All right, well, this show is all about the NASA TechRise Student Challenge, so get ready to play, everybody. We're going to start this show right now. Well, hey there, Elby. is that your NASA TechRise Student Challenge experiment right there in front of you? Oh, fantastic, because that's what this show is all about, NASA TechRise Student Challenge. Well, hello there, everybody, and welcome to the show. Now, as you've just seen, we've cut a hole in our wall back here. Anybody ever watch Fraggle Rock back in the day? There's a little, yeah, I see it, We did too. So there's a hole in the wall, and that's where all the robots live. But welcome to CodeJoy. I'm so glad you all are here. Now, you guys have caught us on a special day because my friend Elby, the little robot that lives behind the wall back there, well, he is all set up to launch his NASA TechRise Student Challenge experiment into the atmosphere today. That box you saw, that's part of that challenge. Now, if you didn't know, the NASA TechRise Student Challenge, it's this awesome challenge put on by NASA where kids can design these experiments and launch them up in high altitude balloons. This is a show that we co-created with that challenge to help promote it for next year. So if you want more information on that, by the way, we can send that to you as well. Before we get to that, there's another robot you should know. He's the director of our show, and he lives underneath my kitchen sink. Matt the robot, how's it going?
It's going great, Kelsey. How are you?
Doing well. Do you want to remind everybody what you do with that chat and everything down there?
You bet. So it's my job to monitor the chat. So anything that you type in the chat, I can read. So when Galen says hello, I could say, hey, Galen, how's it going? So if you have any questions or comments at any point during today's show, please type those in the chat. And speaking of questions, I've got a question for everybody here. I am wondering, what is your favorite topic in science or technology? What is your favorite topic in science or technology? Go ahead and let us know in the chat, and I will bring your answers into the show.
That's right. So the way our show works is that normally we can't see the students and we can't hear the students for liability reasons, but we can read their chats. Now, as you type, what is your favorite science or technology thing, whether it's making clubhouses or Halloween costumes, feel free to type that in that CodeJoy live chat. As you type those things out, students can't see each other's chats, but we can see everybody's chats, which is really helpful because we'll read everybody's stuff, but that way, kids can't, say things to each other, which is important. We also have a registration system where teachers, when they log into a free public show, they can see their students' chats, but nobody else's. So if somebody says something worrying in the chat, the teacher can follow up with that kid. But when we have really busy shows, we'll have, I think our record is like, 15,000 chats or something in 45 minutes?
Yeah.
So Matt has a big job, actually. But another thing we always like to say is like, hey, while we're doing our show, teachers, if you want to take any pictures or videos, feel free to do that. We'd love to see what this looks like in your classroom. If you want to post on social media, you can tag us, CodeJoy. You can tag the NASA technology, the Space Technology Mission Directorate. We would make one of these for the Clubhouse when we do a show for you guys, something like that. But enough about all that stuff. I want to hear what they're into in science and technology. Matt, what are they saying?
A whole bunch of great answers coming in. Galen says, I like animation and visual effects.
Nice.
Shay says, arts and crafts. Matt says, the A in STEAM, how technology can be used to creatively express ourselves. And Angel likes making PCs. So
Nice.
We've got a group here that's very familiar with technology and science.
Oh, I love that. And notice how it felt when somebody on TV said your name. That's how it feels when we talk to the kids too, right? Not only that, but when we've got kids in a classroom together, in the classroom I put in air quotes, because that could be your clubhouse, right? Maybe we won't get to say every single kid's name, but if you're sitting next to Delisa and we just said Delisa's name, you're going to be like, oh my God, it's happening. And we get kids telling us that in the chat. They'll be like, I'm sitting next to her. She's my best friend. They really freak out. It's very cute, actually. But so with that, let's go ahead and check in on Elby and see how his experiment is coming along. So Elby, tell me about your experiment. What does it do exactly? Oh yeah. Cool. Nice. Elby was saying that his experiment is all about music. So with that, he's got, in his experiment, he's built 2 different musical instruments into it. And his hypothesis, or what he thinks is going to happen, is as this experiment rises up on this high altitude balloon up through the layers of the atmosphere, he thinks the sound quality is going to change somehow. Nice. So Elby, have you tested your experiment down here on the ground? Oh, okay. Well, have you at least finished coding your experiment, buddy? Ah, okay. Well, that's a problem because today is launch day. So tell you what, LB, I'll work on coding your experiments out here with our participants, and you keep an eye on that loader. So, in this particular show, our job is to help LB code his musical experiments. Now, there's two different ones built into it. So let's explore the first experiment, which looks like this. In this experiment, a rotation servo motor spins, turning a crank, which activates the music box. Now, this musical experiment, like many things we see here at CodeJoy, is a robot. But robots can look like anything and they can do just about anything. So what is a robot? Well, we define a robot as something that can sense, think, and act. A robot will bring information in from the environment through sensors, also called inputs, and then it'll do something with that based on the code that we are going to write today, and then it'll do something, right? So that's also called outputs. So the output for this first musical experiment is a servo motor, specifically a rotation servo motor. And the way that works is this: the little bottom part, the box, that stays still, but the top part, this is the servo horn, that's the part that rotates around and around. And you can control how fast that spins with a little bit of code. So let me show you how to code a robot like this. Now, if you're with us on CodeJoy Live, it'll look something like this. And you'll start out on the tab at the top that says Home. That's where everybody starts. Head over now to the tab that says Experiment 1. Now, if you're on a computer or Chromebook, those tabs are always displayed. But if you're on a phone or a tablet, you may need to click these three little lines there. But then you'll see all the different tabs. And when you get to Experiment 1, just scroll down beneath the video and the chat, and then you'll find this. This is the code that's going to control our rotation servo. So this is block-based coding, although we can make it look like text-based coding as well. We can kind of make the skin of it look however we want. But what we're doing here is we've got an on-start block. That's an event, so we're going to run this code once. And then it says rotation servo 1 to 0%. So it's not moving right now. But you can help us change that. Go ahead and type a number in there, anything between 0 and 100%, and then click Send Code on the bottom of your screen. How fast do you want this music box to play its song? It's up to you. Type a number in there and then click Send Code, and we'll be able to see your codes appear on our screen. Now, I'm seeing those codes come now, but while you're finishing coding, let's finish talking about this robot, because this robot, the output is a motor, but the input, well, since this is a musical experiment, LB has built a sound sensor into this as well. Now, the sound sensor is just going to be collecting data as we rise up through the atmosphere. It's going to be collecting that data, and then we'll be able to read it when it comes back down to Earth and we collect the experiment. So it looks like we've got some great codes that have come in here, Matt. Whose should we take a look at first?
Let's start with this code from Misha.
Okay, Misha. Misha has sent in 75% speed. I think that's going to sound awesome, Misha. So, LB, my friend, what do you say? Do you want to see Misha's code in action live? Yeah, all right, let's try it out, Misha. 75%. Wait for it. Wait for it. Oops.
Oh,
Oh, I think our camera disconnected, Matt.
the front one?
This one. Hold, please. We have a lot of cameras in here. Sometimes they disconnect. Good? Try it again. I'll cut over to this one. That one's good.
The front one?
This one, yeah.
This guy.
Yeah, that one.
It's off.
Oh. We can fix that.
Sorry about that, everyone.
We had shut some things down earlier. Hold, please. We'll reset that up. There we go. Nice. Great. Okay. So here we are. We've got our code next to our robot there. I'm going to send this code over and start it up. And there we go. That is 75% speed.
It's
There
looking
you go.
good.
Yeah, looking
75, nice mid-range there.
good. Sounds great, Misha. Can we try one more, Matt?
Sure thing. Let's see. How about this code from... we got this great code here from Delisa.
Okay, Delisa, I know her. Okay, so Delisa, she's put in 90% speed. All right, let's see what your code looks like. So what do you say, Elby? Do you want to take a look at Delisa's code live on your robot? All right, let's push it to the limit, Delisa. Going to start it up right now. Wait for it. Nice. That's a quick twinkle twinkle right there.
Yeah. The dance remix. I love
it. Lady Gaga's Twinkle Twinkle. Nice job. That was a great code.
Yeah, thanks for that, Delisa. And thank you, everybody, for sending in some code.
That's right. So as a quick demo of what we do, this is what a CodeJoy student show is like. There's a little story, there's a character, there's a setting, and there's a goal. What do we want to do? Well, in this one, usually LB has forgotten something or done something wrong. That's sort of a central point in most of our shows. But we have to fix it, and the way that we fix it is with code. So in this NASA Tech Rise Student Challenge show, we're coding this experiment, but in another show like Robot Mini Golf, LB wants to play mini golf, but he's at this place called the Unfair Way, where all the stuff is unfair. So like, for example, the windmill, the little mini windmill, is way too fast, and we have to slow it down with code. And the crocodile doesn't open its mouth very much, and so we have to fix it with code, things like that. So each of our different shows has a different story, a different narrative, and different like learning goals that go with it as well. So that's what we're going to do for our demo of our student show here, but feel free to kind of join us back on Zoom or stay on CodeJoy Live. We'll kind of be monitoring both. But we want to kind of open that up to questions from you guys too. Maybe Matt Burke, you want to start us off with a question, but what are you curious about when it comes to this show? What do you want to see? We can go behind the scenes again if you'd like. What do you want to know?
Yeah, I'll come off mic, anybody, if you want to, throw them in the chat. Well, Jeff and I keep an eye on it and break them out. But to your invitation, I'll start you off with one. Just wondering what, like, with the robotic systems, obviously you got the servos. Is there a particular system of robotics that you use? Yeah,
I actually have one right here. So one of the robots that we use a lot is the Hummingbird Robotics Kit. There we go. I'll pull it over here. So the kind of missing element to this is like, what's doing the thinking? What's the microcontroller? We use this one a lot. I've heard that this is something that many of you have, and I'm seeing some nods on Zoom. Yeah. So it's an awesome little system. Full disclosure, Matt and I used to work for BirdBrain. That's how we met, actually. We both applied for the same job at BirdBrain Technologies, and then they created 2 jobs and hired both of us, and neither of us did the one that they posted. So you can make up your own job. Yeah. But yeah, this just makes it really easy to be able to plug things in. And so when we're doing like behind the scenes stuff, we really like to be able to show students that like everything that we've made here is something that you could make in your makerspace. That's also why we make everything out of these like found materials. We just want it to like, we want you to like look at something like, for example, I'll cut over to this camera here. We want you to look at LB and be like, okay, all right, so that's a cardboard box, and that's a cardboard box. And if I open this up here, this little oven door, that's just a microbit that we have in there. Okay, so what's making it move? Well, that's the right question. What's making it move? And the answer to that is a motor, right? So we're actually using the design of these robots so that the familiar materials are sort of like directing your attention to what we want the kids to learn about. We don't want you to learn about how to make the structure of a robot. That's not what we're focusing on. We want you to learn about how to move a motor. What is a pause block? How does a loop work? Something like that.
Yeah, and it's amazing with something like the owl that's behind Kelsey. One of the most common chats that we get is the owl's eyes are glowing. It's not how was the owl built. It was they're noticing the robotic component in this otherwise very plain cardboard creature.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. The other most common one we get is actually probably the 3 most common chats we get are, what's the owl's name? This is just a thing that kids want to know. His name, by the way, is Sir Hootington. He was named by some kids in summer 2020, so it stuck. And also just funny questions like, do you guys have pets? What's your favorite color? Like even middle school and sometimes even high school kids, they'll ask questions like that because I think they just don't quite believe it's live. And they're used to interacting on like a YouTube chat, which is like a pretty toxic space. They'll come in being like, poop, farts, butts, boogers, I hate robots, screw you guys. Like they'll come in with that energy. But by just interacting with Matt the robot and seeing that we ignore rude chats, we respond to kind chats, especially if they're lifting someone else up. If someone says, oh, Misha, I love your code, we will read that every time, especially if it's a kid who came in with poop, butts, and farts. And they say, I love your code, Misha, we're reading that chat. We're acknowledging and bringing them into the experience. So although the thing that we're doing here is coding and robotics, the way that we're doing it is just with good teaching. You acknowledge the good behavior you want to see. You ignore the bad behavior that you don't want to see. You reward the kid who hasn't participated yet, right? So we're just doing good teaching.
And unlike a standard classroom, we actually have we've built a system that allows us to really ignore the bad behavior.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
they actually can't disrupt our show.
Cannot disrupt the show, which is a benefit of our system over our live classroom experiences, Kelsey.
Yeah, it's very hard to ignore a kid like throwing a chair. It's very easy to ignore a kid talking about a chair. That's a good advantage we have here. But yeah, any other curiosities coming up, other questions that you guys might have about our system? Actually, Matt had mentioned that a lot of folks here use OBS, just by a little like show of hands. Okay, do you guys want to see our OBS setup? It's a little insane. Okay, let's do it. So I'm going to share my screen here. Okay. So this is what OBS looks like for us. We've got, and if you're not familiar, OBS stands for Open Broadcaster Systems. It's a free open source software, which is awesome. And we run our business on it. It is robust enough to literally run a children's television show off of. So we've got these different scenes over here. So this is scene one. It's got my main camera. This is, this is our NDI camera. This is a sort of behind the scenes camera. Here's my top down camera. Here's my close-up camera over here. We've got a split screen in here somewhere. Yeah, camera 1 and 2. That's this one here. So all these different scenes set up, and you can see there's a bunch of different scenes because we have so many different combinations. We've got front cam and top down, and let's say this one, this screen cap here, which this is what my CodeJoy Live looks like, by the way. So I can see everybody who's joined. And I can see who submitted code. Jeff submitted code, Kevin submitted code, Matt submitted code. But with just those three things, I have a bunch of combinations. I have front and top down. I have front and screen cap. And I have top down and screen cap. So we've got all the combinations of all of our different cameras so that we can more effectively show what we're talking about. Because one of the things we've learned is that teaching online, it's a visual medium. So we're using the techniques of movies and television, using Matt's background in film, to keep people's attention on what we're trying to show them, right? So if we want your attention on this robot, we'll show you that robot. If we want your attention on the code, we'll show you the code, things like that.
And as part of that, we also are careful to switch cameras every now and then. This is something that you're used to seeing on TV. We have two people hosting here so that you don't get used to hearing the same voice. Even if I only pop in and say a few words every 3 minutes, it kind of helps to keep people focused.
Yeah, it turns out no matter how interesting I make my voice sound, you're gonna tune it out after a while. That's just how it works, right? So we bring like a different gender voice in and just a different voice in to kind of like break up the monotony of Kelsey talking so long. Yeah.
Something else that you didn't, before you cut away, something else that's really interesting is that we have pre-recorded bits loaded into OBS as well. So not all of what you saw during that opening segment and when Kelsey was talking to the little robot, some of that was actually pre-recorded, and we've found these interesting ways in OBS using some of their filters to cut between our various cameras and pre-recorded footage, so Kelsey could talk to characters that are not there.
Yeah, so for example, if I click on this scene that says, what does it do? You remember that part where I asked LB?
You're gonna have to use the hotkey to get there, otherwise it's not gonna start all of this.
Oh, thank you. Would you hit that hotkey?
You got it.
I don't know what it is.
So,
Okay, so
yeah.
this has to be here, and I'm gonna have to say my lines. So you're gonna see the theater background here. So I'm gonna say, let's check in with LB. Hey, LB, tell me about your experiment. What does it do exactly? This is pre-recorded. He's not doing this. He did this a year and a half ago, once. And then I say, oh, and then it cuts back to the front camera automatically. And I say, well, that is interesting. It's a musical instrument, right? So that one's a really short cue where there's the behind the scenes camera, this pre-recorded bit of LB talking, and then it cuts back to the front camera. Some of these cues will cut between 3 or 4 different cameras. The sound will come in before the visual will come in. We're really using all, I mean, like Matt learned so much from like 14-year-old YouTubers who are like, hey guys, here, welcome to my channel. Make sure to smash that like and subscribe, and like learned so much, but then took that and like ran with it.
Yeah, yes, I learned everything I know from gamers, really.
Yeah.
You know,
From streamers.
Yeah, this was not part of my background. So these are all skills that have been picked up in the last 5-6 years.
So I think that's, I know especially you guys are listening for things you can take back to your kids. Stream, go out, learn from YouTube, like try things. Matt tried things that he learned from the streamers on YouTube, and then he invented other things on top of that. And so by stringing all of that stuff together, we can really make something that looks and feels like a TV show. So with some like a drywall, a little bit of set, you know, and some intention behind it, and then some skills we learned on the internet, you know, like this is what our business is built on, you know. All right, I'll stop sharing there. Ooh, this was what Jonathan was wondering. Do you control the camera view on OBS, or is it easier to have a third person switching the views?
Yeah.
I'll let you answer that one.
Both. We do both. So we do have a little stream deck. Kelsey could probably hold that up next time she gets a chance, where somebody can. Here, I'll switch back to that. I can go to.
Yeah,
there we go. So we do have a stream deck, so we can go to the different cameras from there.
This is me saying, is original sound on Zoom? This is my little note to myself.
But that would be really cumbersome. Switching the cameras would be really cumbersome and potentially lead to issues when we're running it alongside some of the pre-recorded bits. So whenever we're running pre-recorded bits, those automatically switch using a filter called Move Source in OBS.
And to answer Matt Burke's question, he said, maybe this is overly technical. Not here, it's not. It says, when you cut from the live to the pre-recorded bit, it was really seamless. Does it automatically trigger the pre-recorded video to play when you cut to it? Yes. The way that Matt has set this up, it'll automatically cut to, let's say, in this one, I'll say what it's doing. So Matt's going to hit one cue. Would we run that same cue again? Matt's going to run one cue. Yeah. And when he hits that cue, it cuts to the behind the wall camera. And after a certain amount of time, it plays this video, which is timed out as well. And when this video is done, it cuts back to the front camera. So that was all one cue. He hit one button and all that stuff happened.
And if you're I'm going to show you anyway.
Yeah. He's just going to show you.
Interested.
People don't nerd out on this.
Yeah, so I get really
so
excited.
This is great.
So what I did is I hit Control number pad 2. That was the cue that set all of this off. And if I go into the filters, you'll see that I have this hide wall camera. So what that means is it's going to start 6,000 milliseconds in, and then after 6,000 milliseconds, it is going to hide that camera, and that's why it goes back to the front. So you could spend forever playing with these filters, but when you start breaking these things apart, it's not terribly complicated. It's complicated to plan, but it's not complicated to execute.
Yeah. And we've now reached the end of what I can tell you about OBS. We've like differentiated what we do, right? So I'm on camera a lot. I'm making facial expressions. I do my hair and makeup every day. My skin really had to get used to that.
I don't do any of that. I'm a troll in the crowd.
Makeup. It's shameful, actually. No. But so we do all of that production value for our student shows. And again, all that production value is as a means to engage groups of kids. We don't know who we're talking to. We know what school they're at. We know what grade they're in, and we know what name they sign in with. And sometimes they sign in with real names like Izzy, and sometimes they sign in as Fart Blaster 3000. And we don't call them that, by the way. We have them log out and log back in. You know, we've developed a TV show that is interactive. It is really, it's using everything that a TV show does, but it's interactive. And we use that to reach students. But actually, as a business, our primary, like our biggest revenue source is actually professional development. So when we teach teachers with professional development, we do all that virtually as well. Now, this studio is like overkill for professional development. We don't need the whole LB and all those extra cameras and all that fancy OBS stuff. What we do for professional development is I stand here and talk. I demonstrate things here and talk. I go to my split screen here. I mostly use like these. I'll use this camera, a couple of different cameras in different ways. So, but for professional development, what we found is that I think we've all been to some like bad PD online. We've all done some bad PD online. I'm guilty, right? But I think a lot of the standard is sort of like a webcam and slides, and you share your slides and you talk. And like that's kind of what online PD is. So I think a lot of times when we say we do online PD, people are like, oh, that's sort of the reaction. We'll get a lot of people coming into PD with us with this very sort of like, all right, my principal told me I had to be here. I'm doing it sort of energy. And what I'm constantly so proud of is that by the end of a 1, 2, 3 hour PD, we'll have teachers on Zoom for 3 hours at a time, teaching them how to use a microbit, how to use a hummingbird, how to use a motor. And by the end of it, they're so jazzed because we use this production value to really time out that 3 hour PD so that 7 minutes in, we're playing a video, and 12 minutes in, we're hitting a music cue because it's work time now. Go work on that. And we'll have, oh, where is my, I got a shelves full of, yeah. We'll say, all right, you've got 15 minutes of work time. And I'll say, all right, everybody, we will see you back here at 4:17 Eastern time. And that's how long you've got to work. Right? And so we'll like set up a certain amount of work time. We'll make that really visual. We'll play some music in the background. One thing we were talking about before the webinar started is that we always try to make everything really tactile when we can. We could make this a digital overlay, but we don't. We don't, because this looks and feels like a classroom. Like you can see the corrugation in this. This is real. And what we're asking teachers to do is go be real in the real world as well, too. So with that professional development, that's something that we hope we get to do at the Clubhouse in the future, in addition to student shows, is bring new technologies to the Clubhouse network, adults, the grown-ups, so that you can go share that with your students as well. So different robotics tools, coding tools. We're moving into AI as well. So how do we use AI safely for kids? What do we use AI safely with for kids? You know, we've been dabbling in like Google Teachable Machine and some things like that. So professional development is a big part of, really the biggest revenue part of what we do. And this studio is overkill for that, but it also has some of the biggest impact because we can teach 400 kids, or we could teach 40 teachers and reach 4,000 kids. You know, that you can really scale out your impact when you serve teachers. I've talked a lot. I talk a lot all day, but I should pause and check in with the chat, ask for questions.
Well, we just had a great question come in. Galen was wondering, our Clubhouse kids would love to tune in. When are the show times? How often do episodes go live?
Yeah, great question. I am going to go to our website here and check this out. I'm going to put this link in the chat here, but you can check out all of the upcoming free shows. I think we've got a few more shows this week, and then we go a little bit dark for the month of May because it's like the last month of school. We have a bunch of private shows that we're doing, but we've got a number of public shows. Let me line this up so it'll be correct. There we go. Okay, so this was our events page that I just put in the chat here. So you can tune in. We've got teacher webinars we do once a month. We've got one coming up with Chibitronics, which is one of our product partners. And then we've got these free public student shows. So if you go to this CodeJoy page here, you can see that we are doing Robot Rising tomorrow, or the NASA Tech Rise Student Challenge. Sorry, Robot Rising is what we call it internally. That sounds a little threatening, so we don't use that publicly.
We should change that. Is what we
Really
should.
should.
Yeah.
It's not
Oh my
the
God.
time for that.
You're
Yeah,
right.
right. And we're like missing an opportunity to write NASA on our website.
Hey, we
What are
gotta
we doing?
put NASA on there somewhere. All right, we'll put NASA, and that'll be all it is. But those are coming up this week. We may launch a couple more in the new year, or I'm sorry, in this month. We may have a little bit of time for that. But I definitely encourage you guys to check out and sign up for our newsletter as well. So I'm just going to type that in, newsletter. That's not how you spell that, Kelsey. Oh, the most mortifying thing is typing in front of other adults. But if you want to sign up for our newsletter, you can be the first to learn about the upcoming events and things that we have coming up. So we send out a newsletter once a month, and it's just full of free stuff. So if you're looking for free shows, free professional development, a lot of times the professional development that we host is sponsored by someone. So for example, we're hosting some professional development for public and public charter school teachers and librarians. I don't know that the Clubhouse networks would technically qualify for it, but if you're an in-school teacher, in addition to your Clubhouse network stuff, or if you know some in-school teachers, definitely check out the Pathfinders Summer Institute. We're shipping out free hardware, and you get free professional development, and there's sort of flexible scheduling for the summer. Oh, and Jeff, the cardboard DJ set, that's one of our shows. We have a show called Robot DJ where Elby is headlining the Cardboard Music Festival, which is called Cardstock. Get it? You got it. So he's accidentally headlining Cardstock, but he forgot to write any music. And so the kids learn how to code some music for him, and then we remix it. Cardcella, yeah. You got it, Misha. You're hired. Come here. Just kidding. We'd never steal you from the Clubhouse, but Cardcella. I bet kids would know that more. Kids don't know what Woodstock is.
No,
that's just for the grown-ups.
For the adults.
We have a lot of that. Like in one of our shows, Robot Aerobics, it's a dance show. So what the kids are controlling is these little robot aerobics dancers in their arms. And the dancers, the robot aerobics teachers are Jane, Richard, and Suzanne, named for Jane, Fonda, Richard Simmons, and Suzanne Summers. You got it, Delisa. Yeah. Again, kids don't get that joke. Some grown-ups do. So we try to make it fun for the teachers in the room too. And actually, that's one of the coolest things that we've seen those student shows used for, is that we'll do an initiative, for example, where we're trying to engage new teachers in coding and robotics. Teachers who've never done anything like this before. In fact, like the teachers, when you say, "Do you do coding and robotics?" they say, "No, you're looking for Mr. Shu." "No, I don't," right? Like the person who points to someone else. That's the teacher that we really specialize in reaching. So we'll launch an initiative where we'll do these student shows first, and we'll plan them at times that work with the school or the district or the state, whoever we're working with. And then we'll find that teacher who's already doing coding and robotics and encourage them to invite 10 other teachers at their school to this show. Teachers don't have to pre-teach anything. They don't have to know anything. They don't have to have any materials. They can just tune in, and we will take care of their class period for them that day, right? And then at the end, we say, "Hey, teachers, did you see how easy that was? Did you see how much fun your students have? Do you see how engaged all of your girls and students of color and students with IEPs are?" We don't say this to the kids, but like kind of imply it in like teachery language. We say, "Listen, if you think you might like to bring some coding and robotics into your classroom, we're going to redirect you to a form where you can sign up for professional development, or a website where you can learn more about professional development." But that professional development is also sponsored. So like one of our initiatives, we worked with this group in Southwestern PA, and they were getting like 25 or 30 teachers every year to sign up for their PD, and that was it. And we launched this initiative. And in that first year, we went from 30 teachers signing up to 110 teachers signing up for their PD, because we use these student shows to advertise the PD that we did with them. So it was sponsored. Everything was free for those teachers. In fact, in that one, they got paid a stipend to attend that PD as well. But we use the student shows to reach people they'd never even spoken to before, people whose emails they did not have, but we got them through the student shows, and they said, oh, well, that was pretty fun, actually. I think I could do that. So, yeah. Pause here for more questions and thoughts and things. Really appreciate you guys playing with us, by the way. Not all grown-ups know how to play anymore, so good job, grown-ups.
Feel free to come off mic, you guys, if you want to. Hit it in the chat. I just want to, since I'm on here saying that, one of the things that you just said too about like a lot of what we're all working with is recognizing some of these gaps in access for folks that have nothing to do with intelligent, need, benefit, creativity, genius, right? And like the list that you kind of like shot off of kids that were engaged, that oftentimes, you know what I mean, find having less representation in that engagement process. Have you, being that what you do is so similar with access and creativity and fun and these dynamics to what a lot of these folks are doing, have you had specific reflections on the results of this? Accessing, girls, youth of color, like, you know, there these any of those particular groups that, you know, we know we're paying special attention to equal out the conditions for.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, so when we launched CodeJoy, we asked the question, like one of our questions behind creating these student shows is, how can we engage a broader swath of kids in coding and robotics? Because coding and robotics, you know, we all have certain things we think of. It's like battle bots, you know, it's competitions, robot competitions. And when your research shows us over and over again that when you're trying to engage kids who have been, and we use the term like traditionally under-engaged, it's not even necessarily, sometimes it's definitely underserved, but sometimes it's not even underserved. It's like, well, anybody can sign up for the after school program, but who's signing up? It's all the boys. It's all the middle income kids, right? So we identified early on, there's 5 groups that we really want our shows to appeal to. Girls, students of color, students from low socioeconomic status, rural students, and students with learning exceptionalities. Everybody else. Right? So we want from the topics of our shows to the way that we go about that, the learning goals that we're trying to hit, those are the groups of kids that we're specifically trying to appeal to. Because if you're trying to appeal to everybody, you end up going towards the median, and that leaves a lot of kids out on the other ends of the bell curve, right? And so just a couple quick stories, little snippets. We worked with the Pocono Mountain School District on the eastern side of PA. We were working with their after school program, which was great, but we also worked with their life skills classes, their middle school and high school life skills classes. We taught their high school life skills teacher how to do robotics, how to use a hummingbird kit. And she was like, guys, just so you know, this is not my thing. I probably can't do it. And my kids, she was up front with us. She was like, my kids probably can't do this either, but my principal said we should try. So let's try it. And I was like, let's try it. So we do a student show, and then we would show her how to create a project as a follow-up. So for example, this is one of the follow-up projects that we taught her how to do that she then did with her kids. This is called the Tiny Drummer. So it's a piece of cardboard and a popsicle stick and a cup. And when he drums on it, it makes a little plop, plop, plop sound. It's a super easy one to build. It just has one servo motor. And she was pretty sure that her kids were not going to be successful with this. But not only were her kids, all of them, able to make their own tiny drummers, she saw behavior in them that she had not seen before. She saw a kid finish their project early, a kid who like never speaks to other kids. They're like sort of selectively nonverbal. They went over to another group without being prompted and said, can I help you with that? She'd never observed that behavior in them before. This was something they felt like they could do. It was a way to be creative that didn't require a ton of fine motor skills from them. They could code. They could absolutely code. Another one through the student show, this was way early on. We were working with South Orange Maplewood School District out in New Jersey. And by the way, we can work everywhere, anywhere, because it's all virtual. Like nobody has to buy my plane ticket or my rental car or anything like that. Like we can work everywhere, which is very cool. But when we were working with South Orange Maplewood, we were with them in the 2020 to 2021 school year. That was that super chaotic school year where everybody started virtual and then there was the half in person. We've blocked it out, I know. But then like by the end, everybody was back to fully in person. Everyone was masked, the whole thing. Well, we were working with the librarians at this district. And after one of the shows we did with the librarian called us. She was like, okay, that girl, Katie, that you got to be the mini golfer, she was like our main golfer. She was super active in the chat, really encouraging to the other kids. We chose her to be like the kid who like putts and actually gets the hole in one, and she did it. She is mute. She's never spoken. This teacher has been her librarian for, she's in 3rd, 4th grade, never heard her speak. She was super active in the chat. And the entire class was cheering for Katie. Most of the kids had never interacted with her, but the whole class was Katie, Katie, because it was a different way to interact, you know? So like we have gotten that evidence that we are serving those kids as well with the work that we do. I think, did you have something to add to that too, Matt?
Oh, I just wanted to highlight that the starting point for this is actually not competition.
Yeah.
That you know, this is you know, exhibition, not competition. All of the robots, no matter what code you put in, are going to work.
Yeah.
Something will be able to give you something to celebrate. And all of the follow-up projects that we encourage are creative based and lead into potential larger creative projects. A tiny drummer, I'm sure you could imagine a tiny guitarist and a tiny xylophone player just as easily, and you could have your own tiny band. No competition there, you know.
Right, collaboration. And when we do that professional development with teachers, that's one of their big takeaways too, is like, oh, I thought this was just for my gifted kids, but I think I'm going to do this in social studies. Yes, we got them. Like that's the goal, right? We want this to be for everybody. And we know that there are some ideas from teachers even coming into this, but with that professional development, really focusing on the collaborative elements and the creative elements of coding and robotics. Yeah.
Well, that's a beautiful round out to it. Yeah, so many your guys' journey to create this thing that you've created is super inspiring, and all these different elements that are so reflective of the pathways that a lot of these youth that we work with are taking, but also so many really incredible affirmations about the power of joy and play and creativity in it. You had said that you are okay with sharing contact info if folks would like to reach out to you directly to connect for any reason with questions potentially about any of this, or even for making personal connections with you.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and you said hello at CodeJoy, right? So we could throw that in.
Hello at codejoy.org. That's our email address. So hello at codejoy.org. You can reach out. We're always looking for new, interesting collaborations. So whatever it is that you are thinking you might want to do at your clubhouse, whether it's something we've already described or like a totally harebrained idea that you think couldn't be, maybe it could. Maybe we could help. Maybe we could also have some harebrained ideas together. Let us know. We're always looking for like creative collaborations with inspiring people. And the Clubhouse Network, you guys really tend to attract those creative collaborators. So we'd be very happy to work with any of them.
And for those of you that are more interested in sort of the technical side, the sort of media side, feel free to reach out with any questions about our setup.
Yep. That email goes to both me and Matt. So you'll hit us both.
Excellent. Thank you so much.
Kelsey, I would just want you to notice Matt changed his name. So I just need you to notice.
Yeah. I know Kelsey was not taking my bait on that one.
All right, I see you. You're kicked out of CodeJoy Live.
Me out of the
You're
chat.
still in my heart. Yeah, for sure.
Thank you so much, you guys. And for all you fart blasters out there, thanks for coming in and being live with us in here. I know there'll be plenty more to come. We'll be getting at you guys soon, Kelsey and Matt. And Jeff and I are already cooking up new potential. Don't laugh when I said cooking when my name is Fart Blaster. No, we're cooking up new ideas among other things. So yeah, more to come. Thank you so much.
Excellent. Well, thank you guys both for having us today.
Thank you.
Thanks, everyone.
Wonderful
Nice.
to meet you. Bye.
Bye, everyone. Thanks again, you guys.
Bye. Nice to have you, Delisa. Thanks, Misha.